The forest was cloaked in an impenetrable darkness as I ventured deeper into its heart. Moonlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting eerie, shifting patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. The night was silent, save for the occasional rustling of leaves and the distant hooting of an owl. It was a moonless night, and my reason for being here was known only to me. A gnawing curiosity had driven me into the woods, a desire to confront my own fears and to prove that I could brave the darkest of nights. Little did I know that this journey would take me to the edge of terror. The forest seemed to close in around me as I moved further from the city's lights. The ancient trees loomed like silent sentinels, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air was heavy with a damp, earthy scent, and I could feel the weight of centuries of secrets that this forest held. As I ventured deeper into the woods, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every rustling leaf, every distant sound seemed to whisper my name, and I had the uncanny sensation that unseen eyes followed my every move. Despite the growing unease, I continued onward, my footsteps barely audible on the forest floor. The darkness was absolute, and I relied on my flashlight to guide me through the maze of trees and underbrush. I had lost all sense of time when I stumbled upon a clearing. The moon, hidden behind heavy clouds, cast a faint, ghostly glow over the space. In the center of the clearing stood a massive, ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching out like a twisted cathedral. As I approached the tree, I could see something hanging from one of its branches, a noose. My heart skipped a beat and a chill ran down my spine. What had driven someone to take their own life in this forsaken place? I cautiously examined the area around the tree and saw a small, weathered journal half buried in the soil. I picked it up, my hands trembling, and began to read. The journal belonged to a man named Samuel, and its pages were filled with ramblings and incoherent writings. He spoke of the forest as a sentient being, a malevolent force that whispered dark secrets to those who dared enter its domain. I read on, my unease growing with each page. Samuel had come to the forest seeking solitude and answers, but my flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the journal's pages. I turned it off for a moment, trying to conserve its battery, and that's when I heard it, a faint, mournful wail, like the cry of a lost soul. It seemed to come from the very heart of the forest. I felt a shiver of fear as I turned my flashlight back on and scanned the clearing. There was nothing there, no sign of the source of the eerie sound. I told myself it was just the wind, just my imagination playing tricks on me. But then I heard it again, closer this time, and accompanied by a chorus of whispering voices. They were faint, almost indistinct, but they filled the night air like a symphony of the damned. I backed away from the oak tree, my heart pounding in my chest. The voices grew louder, more insistent, and I could hear them clearly now, their words filled with anguish and despair. "Help us," they whispered, a mournful plea that sent shivers down my spine. "Help us find peace." I couldn't see anyone, couldn't locate the source of the voices. They seemed to surround me, coming from all directions. I stumbled backward, my mind racing with fear and confusion. Then I saw them, figures emerging from the darkness, their forms ghostly and indistinct. They reached out to me with skeletal hands, their eyes hollow and empty, I turned and ran, crashing through the underbrush, my heart pounding in my chest. The forest seemed to close in around me, the trees reaching out to grab at my clothes and skin. The voices pursued me, their whispers growing louder and more desperate. "Help us," they cried, their words echoing in my ears. "Help us find peace." I ran until I could run no more, until my legs gave way beneath me and I collapsed to the forest floor. The voices surrounded me, their presence overwhelming, and I knew that I had become trapped in the same darkness that had claimed Samuel. As I lay there, the voices grew louder and more insistent, their words becoming a cacophony of torment. I could feel them closing in around me, their spectral forms pressing in from all sides. And then, just when I thought I could bear it no longer, the voices fell silent. The darkness lifted, and I was alone in the forest once more, the moonlight filtering through the trees. I stumbled to my feet, my body shaking with exhaustion and fear. I had survived the forest, but I knew that I would carry the echoes of those voices with me for the rest of my days, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked in the heart of the woods. I turned and fled from the forest, vowing never to return, never to seek answers in a place where the whispering voices of the lost could drive a man to the brink of madness.